You know, my mama used to say, if all your friends jumped off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge? And I'd always give her the answer I knew she wanted, which was, of course not, Mother. Well, then why would, anyway, you know how that goes because you probably got asked the same thing. Well, I'm joining my friends. We're jumping off a bridge because I found something on YouTube that's just a heck of a good idea. Let me show you what I found, what I did, how it looks, how it's gonna work. It's pretty cool. Well, I've had to cut a lot of wood lately because it's dadgum cold. Now I know you folks in Kansas and Nebraska and the Dakotas and all that, you're gonna laugh at the fact that it's, 20 degrees, 18 to 25, something like that at night. And we call that cold. I get that. But, at the same time, I kind of laugh when I see people on the news and they say, it's 90 degrees up here. We're about to burn up. Yeah, 90 degrees is not hot, especially with no humidity like most of y'all are going to have. So I laugh at y'all too. So you can laugh at me. It's okay. I'm tough. Yeah, I can take it. But I've been cutting some wood. Here's some scraps and stuff of wood that I cut, bark and all that junk that's left over. But I found on the internet, and it's been the rage for a few years, I found a great way to store that wood and to, instead of stacking it up in a pile and hoping the pile doesn't fall over, I have found a better way to do that from you guys. I mean, some of y'all already do this, but this is the one of the best things since, maybe not sliced bread, but, since sliced something. I don't know. Let's look at it. Let me show you. So what I'm talking about is using these totes. Most of y'all are familiar with these. They've got a big plastic bladder in them, a big plastic container in them, and liquid material gets shipped all over the world in these things. All sorts of different kinds of things. Some of them food grade, some of them caustic, but lots of different things get shipped in shipping containers. And I got these, man, a long time ago, probably Y2K-ish, and kept them back on the back of the property for, 20, 25 years. Who knows? Can't remember when I bought them. But knowing me, it was Y2K. And they just sat there. I didn't, they were food grade, so I could put water in them, and that's what I bought them for, to store water, even though I have, just a little bit, just millions of gallons of water out there storage. But I was going to do rainwater harvesting, something like that, and decided to just not do that. So they sat there, and then I started seeing all these videos of people storing firewood, selling firewood in these totes. And I'm not going to sell any because I don't like to cut it enough to sell. But this is the best way in the world to store firewood. And you say, well, if you set it out, it's going to get wet. Well, when I took the bladder out, and it's real, I did it several months ago. It's got some little rods like these rods here going across the top, and it's got that bladder sitting in there, so it's self-contained, won't go anywhere. It won't rock up and down. So you just cut the top bars off of it, and then you just take the bladder just comes out. Well, I had the top 10 inches of the bladder. It's just a white bladder, and right now they're under roof, but I can set that bladder, and what I plan to do, I'm not going to leave them right here all summer long, whatever. I'll have them at another place on the property where they're out of sight and out of mind, but they'll have that white covering on top of them. Don't need it right now because I'm under roof, but they'll have that on there. I'll strap it down with bungees or with rope or something like that, where when we do get a rain, the wood's going to already be dry. The wood was dead, and the wood is dry anyway. Hard oak, dead wood. But they won't get rained on with that little cap on top of them. So I'm going to fill this one up for sure. I'm still going to cut. Still got wood to cut, and I'm definitely going to fill this one up. I want to have at least two of these full for next year. That will be plenty of wood for me, unless we just have a real weird global cooling. Let's put it that way. Little ice age. This should be plenty of wood. Because we know we've got central heat. We don't use as much wood as we did when we first moved out here because all the heat we had was wood stove. That's the only heat we had was wood stove. And I need to do a video showing you my wood stove and how to light it, how to build a good fire in it, such as that. And I'll do that hopefully pretty soon. But if you've ever wondered the best way to store firewood, this is it. By far, this is it. So, and these totes are not expensive. You can buy these things usually for $50 a piece, something like that. Cut the bladders out, the white part out, the tanks out, and then come in here on this side. Let me show you the back side of these. That is wood from last year. But on the back side of these, it had a little, I don't know, a little plate here or something. And I decided to leave that on there because I think it'll add some structural integrity to the bladder. I mean, to the tank here, the tote. And then just cut. I just got my little Ryobi cordless grinder, put a cutting blade on it, and just cut down here. And cut out all the way and left one rung, I guess you'd call it. Left one rung there for stability. And I can just reach in here real good to get to put the wood in here, and then reach in here to get it out, whatever. On the other one, on this one here, I think you can see I've got a stack going that way, a stack going that way, and then I've got some in the middle just to keep it from falling in on itself like I'm doing here. Keep from the wood from falling in on from this side, from collapsing in and making a mess. I thought about just throwing the wood in there, piling it up, and that would have worked, but I think this way you get a lot more wood in it, taking the time to stack it. I hate stacking wood. That's one of the worst things I hate doing. But I tell you what, I am tickled to death. I'm also freezing to death because it's about 30 degrees, and I just don't do 30 degrees unless I am a little bit better protected than I am right now, barehanded and freezing. But I had to show you this because if you heat with firewood or just burn firewood in a fireplace and not necessarily heat with it, but just for ambiance, and want a good way to store wood, but if it's outside, it gets wet. Once it gets wet, man, it is a pain to start. And then you just wind up not wanting a fire, not building a fire, not wanting to mess with it because it's so hard to get going. But if you got a place to put these during the summer, go ahead and cut your wood in the spring and summer, let it dry good. This is perfect. Keep the top on it, those bladders, those white bladders, cut the top off of it and keep the top and set it on top of those things. And that's the way I'm going to store firewood from now on until I am gone from this world or just can't cut any more firewood. Man, love it. If you're one of those that have already found this, already discovered this, and I'm late to the game, tell me if I've done everything right, as far as cutting it out, what you do to protect it. If you leave your that white plastic on top, or you can cover it with a tarp. There's a lot of ways you can cover the top of these things because you got so many ways you can put a bungee on it, and you can hook the bungee to these. I mean, they're perfect for this. Why didn't I think of this a few years ago before all these other folks did, and I just had to get it from them? I don't know. Maybe but if you if you do this and have been doing it for a while, since I'm new to the game, give me some tips or just tell me how much you like it, because I think it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Gonna fill this one up. I may go buy another tote because I've got a bunch of logs cut that have been on the ground for a while, and I'm afraid I'm going to lose them to rot. So I may go ahead and buy another tote and fill up a third one too. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but that's quite a possibility. Anyway, just thought I'd show you this. I'm freezing to death, but I just had to tell you this, and just hope you're staying warm too, and that you've your power hadn't gone out, and that you're doing well in this cold snap that we're in right now. One more night of real cold for us, real cold for us. That's 18 degrees. And then starts warming up, and I hope it'll stay that way for a while. Then when we get to summer, I'll make fun of y'all. Y'all make fun of me now. That's fine. I can take it. I'm big. But when it comes to summer, y'all start talking about how hot it is. I'm going to laugh at you too. So that's the way it works. It's the way YouTube works, the way things roll around. All right. I appreciate y'all. We're gone.